Hey you guys, it's me, Mia, today. I just got off work, so y'all excuse how awfully hideous I look. It's been a hot day. Heat index of 106. You know, I was really excited about getting a darker and tanner. But this heat's kind of ruining that excitement for tanning. So, I wanted to do a short video because I have to catch a meeting at like 6:15 tonight. So I didn't know if I would have time to do one when I got back or not. So I hope everybody's day has went awesome. Mine was awesome. Other than being covered in grass and sweat. Sweat is really gross. Like, ugh. And my sweat is like especially gross because when I sweat, I don't know, it just smells really weird. And that may be because I drink a lot of protein shakes. Maybe. I don't know if that really would make your sweat stink or not. Hmm. Something I'll have to Google later. But anyway, so I wanted to share with y'all an experience that I had last night. To let y'all know that everyone is human, and every once in a while we all do have bad days or bad moments. So, I was crap. Sorry, you guys. My mind is just, it's flustered. It really is. It's flustered. But anyway, I was talking to a friend last night. He, has a baby mama and has a couple of sons. And he texted me kind of late last night and was really stressing out because, um, he is in recovery and he is getting the opportunity to meet his baby mama and his two boys after a year and a half of active addiction. So he's really scared about it, really nervous, kind of emotionally overwhelmed in a sense. And it's because he said he hasn't seen him in a year and a half, and where he left things, like where they left off, the relationship it was not on steady ground, and that was due to his active addiction and him not being there when he should have been there for them. So, I kind of talked him through that, and after that, it got me to thinking about some of the things that I did and how I hurt some people in my active addiction, and I kind of got into this little funk, where I was really regretful and full of shame and guilt for a few hours last night thinking about these mistakes that I had made and things I had done in my past and how many people I had hurt. And, you know, I'm over dramatic about things, so when I got in this funk, I jump on Pandora and I literally have a station on Pandora and it's called Sad Love Songs Radio. Because I'm weird like that. So, um, I'm sorry. Like, y'all, there's this idiot here at this halfway house that's like infatuated with me, and I can hear him yelling through the wall right now. Just, he does this all the time. So, like, if I get distracted for a second, it's because I'm listening to how dumb he's being, because bless his heart, he's just not my type, and I just, but I'm not gonna lie, I do tease him every once in a while, because, hell, what kind of woman doesn't tease a man every now and then? But anyway, back to the topic, you guys, I'm sorry. If y'all hear him in the background, I apologize. I really do. But anyway, back to my Pandora station. So I have this Pandora station, and it's literally Sad Love Songs Radio. And I found myself clicking on that station last night. And this is after I'd been in my funk a couple of hours. And, I sat there listening to some of the music. And the song Unsteady came on. And I don't know, I'm sure most of y'all know that song. I don't remember exactly who it's by, but he has an amazing voice. So that song is playing, and at the end of that song, I immediately realized, what are you? That's him, you guys, knocking on the damn door or the wall. Byers, shut up! I'm making a YouTube video. I'm so sorry, you guys. Anyway, so I'm listening to that song, and y'all, I apologize. Um, he's an idiot, but it's actually kind of cute how hard he tries sometimes. But anyway, so once I got done listening to that song, once it ended, I realized that I was in this deep, deep funk. And I was thinking about why. Why are you in this funk? And I started thinking about that and asking myself that question. And I was like, this is pointless. Like this is really pointless to be sitting in this funk and thinking about things I have done in my past. Because some of the major things where I hurt people, it's been the major thing that comes to mind. It's been about a year since I have made that mistake. And I realized that sitting there on the porch, focusing on that mistake was ridiculous and it was a waste of my time. And I didn't understand why I was doing that at that time. Like just sitting there wasting my night. I even had a couple of tears rolling down my face. Because, like I said, if I'm in something, I'm going to do it 100%. And you can't listen to sad music without shedding a tear or two. That's just not the way it works, hell. But anyway, so I started immediately to change my mindset. And I started to think about things I had going for me now, things that I was doing that were good in my life. And a certain thing that I started thinking about was this new process I've started on Facebook every morning. And that's that I will forward a message. I'll type out a short little message every morning. I've done it for 2, 3 mornings now. And I'll just type out a short little encouraging message and I'll forward it to all of my contacts. Just so that they can all have something to wake up to in the morning, something to kind of give them some energy or maybe uplift their spirits if they had a bad night or they're having a bad morning, just to give them a little boost, to get them through the morning. Because if these people that receive these messages are anything like me, Lord, if I have not had a cup of coffee and at least 2 cigarettes, like, bitch, do not talk to me because it's just not going to be well, and then I'm going to have to come back and apologize to you later. So that's kind of, me knowing how I'm in the morning, I am in the mornings, and knowing how I just hate mornings. Instead of focusing on how much I hate mornings, I decided to start sending this message to everybody. So when I started thinking about that in my little funk, I was like, you know what? Yes, you have made mistakes in your past. Have you made some bad ones? Absolutely. We've all made mistakes. Some of us have made worse mistakes than others, but mistakes are where we have room for improvement. And while I was sitting out there on the porch, it came in my mind. It was like, mistakes are okay to make if you learn from them. And you guys, that's what I want to really like kind of drive home this in this video, is that it's natural, it's human nature to make mistakes. Making mistakes is just part of human nature and it's gonna happen. So, I want y'all to like when you if y'all which I'm sure y'all do, if y'all get into funks sometimes where you're thinking about things that you have done in your past where you've hurt people, maybe you said something you weren't supposed to, and maybe you committed a murder, which if you did, don't tell me because I'm not gonna turn you in. And then if I don't turn you in and you tell me you committed a murder, I'm gonna be like, is it an apprentice maybe? Either way, if that's the case and you have committed a murder, just don't let me know. You know what? Just because I'm not going to jail with you. I'm just hell no. I did enough time in jail. But anyway, so I just want y'all to realize that it really is. It's human nature to make mistakes, and we have to learn a lesson from those mistakes. And yes, it sucks sometimes. Like it really does. Like sometimes we make huge mistakes that can alter life situations or alter relationships for a very long time in the future. But what I told him last night is I said, in recovery, we have to focus on one day at a time. And I make mistakes. I still make mistakes every day. But if we go back and we look at those mistakes and we can see what we did wrong, and then in return, next time, instead of making that mistake, address that situation in the way that, with the lesson that we learned when we made the mistake, because at the end of the day, if we can sit down and we can look at ourselves and we can be like, yeah, I've made mistakes, but I did learn from those and I did make things right. So you did your part. Now, sometimes, guys, people are not going to accept our apologies and people are not going to believe us, if we come right back and we apologize or something. Like in my case, you know, people I've hurt in my addiction, I tell them, I'm like, I've changed. I'm different. I'm not getting high. I don't want to. And in my case, actions speak louder than words. So in my case, I have to show them that I'm different, that I have changed, that don't want to get high, that I don't want to, steal or lie or hurt people like I have been or had done to them in the past. And that's one of those situations where, because of the mistakes that I have made, they affect my future in a sense, as far as building and repairing the relationships that I once had with certain individuals. But you guys, at night when I sit down and I do kind of a little simple inventory of how my day went, I can sit down and I can tell myself, you may have made mistakes, but you are working to fix them and you are striving every day to reverse the effects of those mistakes. And you are, in return, learning lessons from all of these mistakes that you had made. And that's just something that is very important to us as individuals, is that we must realize that mistakes happen, but you can, just like you can recover from being in addiction, you can recover from making a mistake. I don't care how big it is, and the phrase time heals all wounds, it's so cliche in a sense, but it is also very true, you guys. Um, and in some situations, time doesn't necessarily heal some wounds, but it does make it easier for a person to deal with the effects of those wounds. Now, in that case, um, I also told him last night, I was like, now you're going to have patience and have self control when you meet them for the first time, because all she remembers is what you did to her in the past and how you acted in the past. So when we are in a situation like that and we are dealing with the individual that we hurt or that we harmed, we are going to have patience and have some self-discipline and self-control and not get angry with them, because them us leaving them in that darkness of the pain and the hurt that we cause them, that's where their mind is stuck, you know. And when their mind is stuck there, that's just where things were kind of left off. So that's where we're going to have to start working to repair that relationship. And you know, sometimes they may throw that in our face and just try to guilt trip us and shame us with that. And that is because they are trying to figure out how to deal with the hurt that we cause them while we're trying to be over here and repair that relationship. So it's not going to be easy. But if we put full effort into making our actions show what we are trying or what we want to do, and we just, you know, not only do we tell them, but we prove them with our actions, then they're going to, in return, eventually, they're going to stop throwing that in our face and they're going to realize, okay, you know, he did hurt me. Or so and so did harm me or hurt me or cause me emotional damage. But then once they start seeing us change and that we're really changing, they're going to start thinking about their actions and how they reacted in the situation, what they may have done wrong. And when you get to that point, you know that that's when the relationship is really going to start repairing itself, because then not only do we have us over here that are working to show that our actions want to fix the relationship, but then you have the individual that we hurt and that we harmed and caused damage to, and they will be in there working to show you that their actions, or show you through their actions, that they are sorry for what they've done and they want to repair the relationship. And you know, guys, it's this is a cliche example, but it is like a triangle. You know, um, I'm gonna explain it this way. When you had two individuals, and like take it for instance in a recovery sense, if you have two people in a relationship and they were both in active addiction, we'll use me and Mike as an example. Okay, and maybe they're separated at the time. You know, one's over here, and like me and Mike, you know, right now we're not separate. Like we're together, but we're not together. He is still in jail, and I'm in the halfway house. Okay, so right now we are apart from each other, very much so. Now we do still talk on the phone, text, and all that. You know, I just so because we love each other, so we do talk to each other, of course. But well, that's kind of common sense. But anyway, so he is working on himself in jail right now. You know, he is sober for the first time in, I think it has been 10 years since he has been sober. When he was 25, when his active addiction for real took off. And this is the first time I've for real been sober in 6 years. So, you know, I'm in a halfway house working on myself, working on character defects, and he is in jail working on his character defects. And because he is sober and because I am sober, we are both looking at our relationship the past couple of years, well, year and a half, well, yeah, about a year and a half, and we are both realizing what we did wrong. You know, and we're not focusing on what each other did wrong like we were when we were in active addiction and we were together. So being able to focus on what I did wrong and him being able to focus on what he did wrong, we are improving ourselves. And you know, in the triangle, of course, it has 2 points down here and it goes up into a big point. Woo, triangle and pyramid. Okay, I'm sorry. But anyway, when you have the triangle, you know, and both individuals are working on themselves and they're both working on their own character defects and not focusing on each other's, then the triangle comes into play. And, you know, he's growing in maturity and I'm growing in maturity. And as we grow, you know, just by our talks on the phone, and he's doing some recovery work while he's in jail, and I'm like heavily involved in recovery work right now. But while we're doing this, we are growing closer and closer and closer together, like we are closer now than I believe we were in our relationship in active addiction. And you know, at the first beginning of our relationship, we were close, and we just steadily grew apart. And that's because at this point we were at the top of the triangle when we started using together, but as we started focusing on each other's issues instead of our own, we started separating from each other. That's just how the process works. Now, if you're in a situation like this and you are trying to repair a relationship, a marriage, anything like that, I would, me personally, I think it would be great for you to find a common goal between the two of y'all that y'all can work towards to achieve. And in my case, Mike has two daughters, my two stepdaughters. And in our case, our common goal is to get custody of them, to have them back in our lives, and to provide a future for them. One of our goals is to get a car and for both of us to work 40 hours a week, just to have some stability in our life. So, as we are working on our character defects and our flaws, we also have set this common goal. And I actually have all this written down on paper because as I talk to him, we write down goals on paper. I've actually mailed him a copy of it once. So, we're able to encourage each other about this, and we're able to lift each other up in regards of, growing closer together, focusing on our own character defects, and we're able to encourage each other towards that common goal that we have set and that we have in play. So, guys, it's just, especially repairing a relationship with your significant other, that is a very difficult situation to address sometimes, especially in the world nowadays, because nowadays, we just want to sign divorce papers and we can just get rid of the person, and it's that easy. But, while it may be that easy, that's not always the answer. Now, sometimes separating, getting away from each other, that is completely okay, and that just depends on each situation. You have to make that decision in the end, and you have to kind of look at how the relationship is, what pros and cons rather. So, guys, that's just a little bit of advice, kind of what I've dealt with last night, just to kind of show y'all that I may be happy and maybe smiling on these videos, and I am happy. I'm genuinely happy, and that is because I'm clean and sober, and I'm actually working on myself. But, we are human, and we are gonna get down sometimes. We are gonna cry, and it's okay, you guys. As long as we are able to pick ourselves up and continue forward and can keep progressing as far as developing ourselves and making a future for ourselves, focusing on what we not necessarily what we want, but who we want to be and where we want to go in life. If you can stand up and focus on that and redirect your mindset to that after having one of these little funky moments, a sad moment, whatever you want to call it, then you are doing A-okay, A plus, A plus for effort. Because if we're giving the best we can, that's all anyone can ask of us. So, I want to kind of like give y'all a little sentence at the end of these videos now to keep in your head, with a little phrase. So, the one I want to give y'all tonight is, how can I do this? Because I don't want to like have to go back and find the owner that may have said this sentence and be like, hey, I totally copyrighted your phrase or motto on YouTube, because I don't have the money for that crap. So, well, just give it 100, I guess, just give it 100 and always work on you. Well, that's good. I'm very proud of me for coming up with that, actually. That's pretty good. Because, I've learned in recovery that it is a non-selfish program that is very selfish. And that is because you do service work in recovery and you do focus on others. But in return, you must focus on yourself, because it's all about developing yourself. Because, like in my case, when you start using drugs, your maturity advances, or development of maturity, it stops. It stops right there. So, when I started using 6 years ago, my maturity stopped developing, and I'm having to work on developing that. So, like, I am, oh, what is that word? Investing myself into other people, but at the same time, I am always working on myself. And you guys, this video was a lot longer than I meant for it to be. I guess I just like to hear myself talk. But I love y'all. I've got to grab a shower and get all dolled up for this meeting. Y'all feel free to subscribe. I'd love for y'all to subscribe. Just keep being you. I like the phrase shine brighter than the sun, and let's change the world one smile at a time, one day at a time. You guys have a great evening, and if you have any questions you want me to answer on a video, or maybe a topic to talk about, y'all comment, y'all share the channel if you want. Add me on social media if you want. It's Mia Still on Instagram and CJ Gardner on Facebook. So I love you guys, and y'all have a great evening and have a good day tomorrow.